G'day punters, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you about something super simple, and that's how to stay invisible as a bodyguard. Now you see me, now you don't. Me old mate John Cena. Have you ever seen those bodyguards in movies standing right next to the P and they're all looking super serious, tough, angry, got the curly whirly? Well, while that can be necessary, maybe on a presidential detail or you're forward facing doing some rope work or on the line, it's not the absolute of executive protection. As someone who's got an incredible name in the industry likes to say, Mr. Tim Smith, the CEO of Ronan SA, get better at being there, but not being there. The best protection is staying invisible, invisible to the threats, invisible to the problems, invisible to the danger. And today I'm going to try and show you 5 simple ways to get through doing your executive protection tasks, or maybe flying as a solo agent, looking after your principal, and remaining very low profile or discreet to the best of your ability. Step 1, survey the scene. Know your environment. Before you even get there, you have to understand where you're going intimately so that you can have complete control all the way through what you're doing. It's a little bit like, imagine you're playing hide and seek, but you already know the best hiding spots before the game even starts. You want that unfair advantage prior to even arriving at the location. That's your advanced work, that's your intelligence work, that's under those 5 phases of executive protection that we'll cover in a different video, but it's super important to be aware of what's on the ground before you even turn up. A really good mate of mine, Mr. Kieran Haywood in operations, uses the term own the environment and you own the mission. So a good operator, when they're out there kicking goals and doing really well on task, they're going to own that environment so intimately, there's not a single part of it that they don't control. And by that, I mean, you need to know everything there is to know about where you're going, from the spare toilets, where the key is, if it's got a SAF lock key, where the rear access or entry point is, primary M bus, D bus, or exit, infill, exfil points. You need to know it like the back of your hand. Quick tips, well, check maps. Do a little bit of a Google review. Do your Google Maps, do your Apple Maps, do your Waze Maps, check your routes there, check your routes out. Check the exits, get online. In Australia, you can jump on ILS and you can look at building plans, land plans. Look for the weak spots in the building. Look for the windows. Are they tempered glass? Are they barricaded? Are there locks on the doors? Are there bolt locks? Know everything before the P arrives. As we like to say, prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. So find the best spot to post where you can see everything, but no one notices you. And if a problem happens, you're ready before anyone else even knows that it's happening. Now, it goes without saying that being invisible is being out of sight, is out of mind. So pillar 2 of this is out of sight, out of mind. Your job is to prevent the story and not be the story. For those in the game that are trying to get famous by being a bodyguard or whatever it is that they think is going to happen, you got it wrong. The whole idea is to not be seen, to not be present, is to maintain the lowest possible profile while ensuring that the principal can go from point A to point B without having any interruption to their day. That's where Panoptic Solutions has been so successful. That's what we pride ourselves on. And if you're looking at getting in the industry, this is where you should be looking to go. So how do you stay out of sight and out of mind? Well, you minimize your presence, but you remain close enough to react. You blend in, unless of course the brief is to block the shot. And if people don't remember you were there, then you did your job right. Take this away as a key gem. If you're in every photo, then you're doing it wrong. Step 3, dress for success. Now, I may not be the right person to emulate, although I have made a couple of good little fashion pieces about bright, sunny, knobby shirts. However, rocking up in 511s, a G-Shock and a set of Oakleys, you may as well have just stayed in uniform. You need to dress appropriately for the environment. So I'm going to cover a couple of those things that you can do to try and enhance your ability to blend in. All right, as a young copper, one of the first things I got tasked with doing was a bombing a Darwin ceremony. Now that's a pretty formal event for the Northern Territory, and the dress code was territory rig. Being a young cop, having just worn uniform my entire life, I had no idea what territory rig was. But luckily, there's a thing called protocol. So if you don't understand what formal dress codes are, you can usually go to your government website for the state, territory, country, wherever you are, and you can look up their protocol official standards for dress and bearing. Now for territory rig, it was just a button down and a set of moleskins with a croc skin belt, which I still rock at the moment, but you have to know the protocol and you have to know the dress code. A casual event on the other hand, Possibly it could be a matter of reading the room. You may not have the protocol to guide what your requirements are. So minimize, dress down, try not to be the absolute epitome of that fashionista. You're realistically trying to blend into the background. You want to be as plain and beige as the walls. Again, own your environment and own the mission. If you understand where you're going and what you're doing, if you've got a good read on the room, you're going to be so much more successful. All right, number 4, we're almost there. Stop problems before they happen. The idea is to be invisible, and the idea of being invisible is basically not to stand out at any point. So if you can get in front of things before they occur, then you're giving yourself that edge in looking like you're even more prepared and more capable at your job. No one should ever know there was a problem to begin with, because you're so well prepared, nothing could ever go wrong when you're on the detail. As I like to joke around with my mates, I've won every fight I didn't want by at least 100 meters. And you should be doing the same thing. If there's a conflict or a contest, or you've got some fixated person that you don't want to deal with, then you shouldn't even have your principal there in the first place. It's your responsibility to guide them and manipulate the situation to the best of your ability to reduce all the threats, to allow your principal to go about their daily life without any interruption. So how do you do that? I mean, it sounds easier than it sounds, right? Spot risks early, shady people, fixated persons, blocked exits, sudden changes in the layout of the venue. What have you paid attention to on your advance that now looks out of place? Critical one, and I think about this all the time, is I was looking after a principal in Sydney. I had the clients coming back to the hotel that we're at, and on the Port Couture where the turn-in comes in for the convoy, we were coming up and there was this odd-looking guy just standing on the corner. No reason to be there, purpose. People have purpose. They're either moving with purpose, to, from, standing, talking, whatever they're doing. This gent was just standing there with his back to the convoy as we came in. I popped the door as soon as we got there, vehicle was still moving, stepped out, chest fronted him, and there he is. He's a pap and he's trying to get a snap, trying to smudge up my principal, who was asking for a no photos tour as they were on task in Australia. And it was quite simply a matter of my foresight, spotting the risk early, seeing someone there that looks sort of out of place, didn't have a purpose, and physically blocking their presence. I didn't have to lay hands or use force, I just simply blocked out the presence. But it also took making a quick decision to react, resolve, and remove the risk without making a scene. Remember that, react, resolve, and remove the risks. The other part of it is carry on with the mission, don't carry on about the mission. So if something like that happens, just crack on. Deal with it, resolve it, remove it, move to the next thing. Don't get focused and locked into the problems that you've dealt with. Now, this might seem a little bit contentious, but there is a link between magic and executive protection. And it's not the fancy dress, the black suit and tie and tails. It's the planning and preparation. It's that the best tricks in magic happen before you even notice how they've happened. And that is how executive protection should work too. You should be seamless is as seamless does. No one should know that there's a gap or there's an issue or there's a problem or that anything even happened. Simply that someone went from point A to point B and was immediately forgotten because it was so boring. Not quite point 5, but to quote the hitman's Bodyguard, boring is best, right? One of our critical sayings that we utilize all the time, and I'm sure others share it, is friendly, not friends. What does that mean? Well, it means don't put yourself in a position where you can be compromised. You want to know what's happening real time on the ground from everyone around you. So you need to remember the golden rule. Treat others as you wish to be treated yourself. It makes talking to people that much easier. And if you want to know something from someone around you and you've been treating them kindly from the very get-go, then that's a huge step in the right direction for your rapport building. However, friendly, not friends. You're not trying to give up information on the principal. You're protecting the principal's information integrity and privacy. So where does this apply? Gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are incredible. I'm talking about executive assistants, concierge desks, anyone that might be able to get you tickets, anyone that's a gatekeeper to a venue or a location that you may need to be able to engage with. Drivers. So you may not always have a security driver or an executive protection professional driving your principal. So consider the fact that your chauffeurs and your drivers are just as essential to your program as what you might be. The service staff. So know what's going on behind the scenes in back of house. Understand if there's problems with the chef, if people are having domestic issues, people aren't going to turn up on time, if there's breaches to the security to the perimeter or to the premises because people aren't taking their job seriously or they've got other things on their mind. Treat your teammates around you outside of your executive protection team with the respect that they deserve and they'll help you. Remember, extend trust quickly, but also be quick to take it away where it's not required or where people don't suit the need. Remember, you are working, but Just because you're working doesn't mean you have to be best friends with these people. You don't want to be compromised and then turn into an insider threat yourself because you're able to be leveraged. I think about this more along the lines of being a cop, and I know not everyone's got that experience, but like when you're in the cops, a good gig can feed you information unlike any wiretap or surveillance device or anything that you can scrape from OSINT. You want to effectively establish good gigs or informants everywhere you go with the back of house teams, the staff, the support staff, everyone. Everyone should be informing back to you so that you can make seamless is as seamless does. So that's 5 ways to stay invisible doing executive protection. Until I see you next time, good luck, wheels up. And if you've got anything else, drop me a comment, let me know. See you later. So a quick recap on the 5 ways to stay invisible in executive protection. 5 ways to be invisible. 1, survey the scene. 2, out of sight, out of mind. 3, dress for success. Follow your protocol rules. 4, stop problems before they happen. 5, friendly not friends. That's a quick recap on the 5 ways that you can remain invisible while doing executive protection. Thanks very much.